Rick and Morty has always been known for its extremely dark sense of humor.
Sorry, it was all my fault. I'm sorry.
Daddy, leave the car alone.
What?
Leave the car alone.
Hunter? Go!
Oh my God.
Go stay here, Hunter, no!
But season 3 may have been the darkest season yet. Rick even warned us it would get dark.
Take it easy, Rick. That's dark.
Oh, it gets darker, Morty. Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures.
But anyway, I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today I thought it'd be a cool idea to take a look at the 10 darkest moments from season 3. And there's quite a few to pick. Now, just please keep in mind, this is my own personal opinions. And if you guys think that something else should be on the list, please just go ahead and leave a comment down below describing what it was. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. But with that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and jump in with number 10. During season 3, we got to see Summer's character come a long way. She made giant character strides and her plot lines became a lot more involved than previous seasons. However, in episode 2, Rick Mancing the Stone, there was a pretty dark moment involving Summer. It was very early on in the episode, but it was really cool as well because it really let you know that this character was no longer a little kid. She was going to be playing a big role in this season.
Grandpa's concern for your safety is fleeting.
Your blood will be my lotion.
Whoa, that was cool.
Kill me, please.
Okay, but not because you told me to.
Summer! Okay, getting darker.
Next up comes a very dark moment from Rick Shank Redemption, which was the very first episode of season 3. Now, this would have been higher up on the list because it's such a dark moment, but it turned out to be fake. And of course, I'm talking about the scene where Rick has his memory of his wife and daughter being exploded and killed right before his eyes. Extremely dark moment. It would have been probably number 1 had it not been for this all being a fabricated memory. But still, nonetheless, having a false memory of your wife and daughter dying in front of you is still pretty dark, and that's why it's on our list.
No!
Wow, this sauce is
Of course, any list about season 3 of Rick and Morty wouldn't be complete without including Pickle Rick and that action fight scene where he kills all of those rats, or even the part where he uses the laser beam to laser down the FBI agents that are after him. It became a pretty hectic and dark, violent, gory part of that episode, and I absolutely loved it. So it comes in at number 8 on our list.
By the way, you might notice that in spite of your numerous distinctive features, I never gave you a name like Scar or Stripe or Goliath. That's because to me you aren't special. You were special to rats. Now they're dead. I guess it was me you should have impressed.
Next up is an incredibly dark scene for a number of reasons, and I'm talking about the scene here from Morty's Mind Blowers, where they're trapped inside of that giant hamster cage and they're being watched over by a giant alien. And then they do this whole thing where they send off a signal to scientists on Earth to make a spacecraft to travel to them, and then they basically just swap places, therefore leaving that scientist to basically rot there forever and die. And I thought that this was very under-the-cuff darkness, a very melancholy feel there. They pulled a big switcheroo on that, and I know they copied it from a movie, but it's still pretty dark when you think about just what they did there. You know, this scientist comes out of there. We have so much to learn. This is so exciting. And then they just pull a little bait and switch and leave him there to die. Pretty dark overtones there.
Here are some customary clothing gifts. Please, put them on. May we...
Of course, yes. We followed your instructions. We have so much to learn from you.
I know, right?
Next up is from episode 4, Vindicators 3, Return of World Ender. And this is probably just a collection of things that happen in this episode. There's a lot of death in this episode. We see Vindicators falling left and right. The one gets his head chainsawed off, and then his legs are flying around. It's all that's left of him because Rick put a booby trap there. But I think the darkest moment had to have been when the train guy and a million ants went at it because he figured out that he had been sleeping with his wife while they were still together. And then a million ants basically explodes him. So that was a pretty dark thing there to see, these former friends be broken down because of Rick and all of that. So I thought it was a pretty dark scene.
Together. What? I conceived a child with million ants and it died inside me because it was 500,000 ants and half collapsing star! And yes, he was better than you.
Yeah?
1,000,000 times better.
All aboard,
My favorite episode for the entire season was episode 7, the Rick Lantis mix-up. Introduced a lot of cool concepts and cool characters, including one of the darkest characters we've seen to date, and that is the cop version of Morty. He's very cynical. He's just very hateful. He's got a lot of hate in him, and he's got a lot of dark overtones to him. I love how he just doesn't care about anything else. Just other Mortys don't matter to him, and he just goes about his way trying to get his own business done. But the darkest part of his character was probably when he goes into that crack house or whatever when they were trying to make their own portal serum, and he just basically evaporates that entire house, killing everyone inside. And when asked what happened back there, he goes, just Morty's killing Mortys. Pretty heavy stuff.
Paperwork, huh?
Go to the car and grab a Medipack. Let me worry about this.
What happened?
Same old story. Morty's killing Mortys.
Another incredibly sad or dark moment that I remember from season 3 had to have come from the episode The Whirly Dirly Conspiracy. Now, in this episode, Rick takes Jerry to this theme park where nobody can die, you can't get hurt, and they're at the bar and they see these two kids shooting each other with these laser guns or whatever, and he's like, well, they can't die, they're just having fun. Well, it gets incredibly dark later on in the episode when they turn off this force field that protects everyone from dying, and the two kids end up shooting each other. It was super dark. I mean, it was a really funny moment. You kind of saw this coming, a little bit of foreshadowing on this, but man, is that dark to see two kids shoot each other in a cartoon.
Leave that?
Our next dark moment comes again from the Rick Lantis mix-up episode, and that is the Simple Rick. Now, this is a crazy dark concept of a Rick that is trapped inside of a room wearing a helmet that replays his best memory over and over, but in reality, he's just sitting in a chair, locked in this chair. He has no idea what's actually going on, and they are just milking him for this flavoring they put inside this cookie to make other Ricks feel good. And then later in the episode, we see him be replaced with another Rick who tried to escape, and he's replaying his escape from the factory over and over again. But he's also trapped in there. It's a very dark concept that they are trapped in this virtual reality and not really knowing what's going on. A very dark and weird scene, but one that I thought was pretty comical.
We captured that taste, and we keep giving it to him so he can give it right back to you in every bite of new Simple Rick Freedom Wafer Selects. Come home to the unique flavor of shattering the grand illusion. Come home to Simple Rick.
Again, in that same episode, there is a part where we follow these Mortys who are basically ripoffs of the movie Stand By Me, which is also a pretty funny little Easter egg joke to put in there. Anyway, we come towards the end of the episode. We see them standing around this giant pit, the thing that they had traveled all their way to get to. And the one of them, the leader of the Stand By Me Mortys, just more or less commits suicide and jumps into it. He's just such a sad, depressed person. He doesn't really believe in anything. He doesn't think it does wishes. He just thinks everything's stupid, and he's over being alive. So he basically just jumps into it, committing suicide. And then to make things worse, his friends were like, well, maybe that portal goes somewhere nice. And then immediately after, they just learn that it's a giant garbage dump. So pretty dark humor right there as well.
Something pretty goddamn important in there. Me too, but I doubt it. No! Maybe it went somewhere nice.
Garbage dump. Stand back.
But finally, and the absolute darkest moment from season 3, in my opinion, is also in that same episode, Rick Lantis Mix-Up, which is why I think it's the best episode. It has lots of these dark-toned humor in it. But anyway, has to be when evil Morty finally becomes president, and then he starts killing off these Ricks that are part of his inner chamber council. Such a dark moment when he goes, a little more off the top, and then shoots a few of them who raised their hands, who agreed against him. Super dark, and then he ejects their dead bodies out into space, and all the characters we met throughout that entire episode, we find are dead, floating in space. Incredibly dark right there. I'm so happy that they finally brought back Evil Morty. And hopefully in season 4 we see where this plotline leads us. Obviously, it's the best thing about this whole season was this episode, and this plotline was my personal favorite part. Lots of dark humor in there. But anyway, those, like I said, are just my own personal opinions on the top 10 darkest moments. Let me know if there's something I missed or something you guys think was pretty dark that I may have skipped over. Let me know all that down in the comment section down below. Also, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more Rick and Morty content in your sub boxes daily. Check out my previous Rick and Morty playlist. Tons and tons of Rick and Morty content on the channel if you guys have not already seen it. But until next time, guys, remember that's always K-Mac time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out.
Jump right in.
Ready to jump.